All right, ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you. We're about to get this started. Now, education reflects life, yes? And in life, there are ground rules. There are rituals, there are routines. Rule number one, ladies and gentlemen, the aisles must be kept clear. That's for safety purposes. Rule number two, pictures may be taken after the ceremony. That's our official stance. We understand there'll be pictures taken during the ceremony, but official stance is after the ceremony. Rule number three, please make sure that all cell phones and beepers have been turned off at this time. Cell phones and beepers. You got a beeper, you should have shut it off a long time ago. Rule number four, please remain seated during the ceremony unless you're requested to do otherwise. So there's times when we have family and friends stand. There's times where, well, actually most times we need for you guys to remain in your seats. And then of course rule number five, which is the easiest, we're here to celebrate all of our graduates. And so rule number five is you must celebrate, yes? Can we do that, family? Now, parents, family, and friends, please rise and welcome the graduating class of 2014. All right, did we get them all? Did we get them all? We don't want to miss a bit, yes? Did we get every bit? All right. It's a good morning, yes? Welcome. These students have been with STEM for 4 years. Separate academies, but one STEM. S-T-E-M, yes? They represent the Academy of Health Sciences, the Academy of Information Technology, and of course my favorite, the Academy of Engineering. They have chosen to focus their career preparedness. They've chosen to finish what they started, and thus we've chosen to recognize their grand accomplishment this day, right here. We ask that you remain standing for the presentation of the colors by the JROTC cadets and remain standing until the singing of the national anthem. At this time, we're going to ask the Salutatorian, Andrew Johnson, to come forward for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. That will be sung by Miss Diane Watkins. Okay, please be seated. All right. Before we keep moving, parents, we're going to ask you guys to get back up. Parents, can y'all get back up for a minute? Parents, let's get back up for a moment. All right. It's nothing for me to say. I was going to say, graduates, give it up for the parents. It's been done. Now, we also want to take this opportunity to recognize some of our partners. We want to recognize Mr. Alan Casey from ME Engineering, Mr. Douglas Merrill from RIT, Laurel Sangler from MCC, Mike Morella from Wegmans, Mary Pat Cottingham from Ortho-Clinical Diagnostics, Pat Pendell from Harris, Rob DeLuglio from Hewlett-Packard, Alyssa Nesmith from Xerox, Amy Chiavi, and Mary Adams. We want to recognize them. Okay, and now back to the graduates. Graduates, I know what you're thinking. Look at me now. Look at me now, Mom. Look at me, Dad, Aunt, Uncle, Grandma, Papa, Mama. Look at me now. Well, speaking as a parent, my response will be, we see you. And the picture is complete. Turn to someone and say, look at me now. Graduates, this is your first graduation. I know what you're thinking. No, Harris, I had moving up day in kindergarten. I graduated from 8th grade, Harris. None of them count. Take the certificate down, put the trophy away. They were cute, very cute, but they didn't count. This is when the pride starts. Yes, parents? My boy graduated from high school. My boy graduated from trade school. My girl graduated from college, etc. The educational pride starts here. It starts here, but it doesn't end here. Okay? This is not the end of anything. This is the beginning. We count this as the first step. We'll be looking forward to the next one, graduates. We'll stay tuned, yes? You guys are the first. You're the trendsetters, the pace setters, the trailblazers. You are the front runners. You are the innovators. A lot of responsibility, graduates. You guys said yes. Yes, I'll get up early. Yes, I'll work hard. Yes, I'll stay late. You guys said yes. And because of that, your parents, your teachers, your counselors, your principal, your superintendent, and New York State says yes. Yes? Yes. I get excited, but let's get back on track. Mr. Alan Casey has a few thoughts that he'd like to share. Mr. Alan Casey, president of ME Engineering.
Hello. It's been 46 years since I graduated from Edison, but I got my homework finished about 10 minutes ago. Mrs. DeNiro gave me an assignment to say a few words. I think I may have written a few too many, but we'll try to keep it quick. For the last 4 years, I've been the chairman of the STEM High School Advisory Board. It's a wonderful and a very dedicated group, and it's been working very hard to expose these students to college and career opportunities. That's our job. I've also spent quite a bit of time working with the district administration and lobbying for the STEM high school and advocating for my alma mater here at Edison Tech. I grew up in the city. My wife and I still live in this city. I attended 28 school off Humboldt Street. I attended the old Edison Tech on Clifford Avenue. Graduated from Edison in 1968 with a Regents Technical Diploma, and I'm still alive. I went on to RIT, graduated from RIT in 1973 with my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Moved away from Rochester for a few years and came back in 1981 for a job here, and then myself and 3 other partners started ME Engineering in 1991. We've grown to a firm of about 150 employees, probably 100 plus of which are graduate engineers. I met Ms. Nero about 4 years ago and wanted to volunteer. So what can I do for you? And she said, well, I feel very strongly about having an advisory board. I'm looking for higher ed and business partners and need to help out with whatever we need to do at the school. So we took our show on the road. The first folks we talked to were the president of RIT and the president of MCC. They jumped in, both feet right away. With that behind us, we went on and recruited Xerox, Harris RF, Johnson & Johnson Clinical Diagnostics, my good friends at Wegmans, and more recently Hewlett-Packard, and actually 5 or 6 other business partners that have agreed to participate in our program. It was an easy sell, and everybody jumped on board right away. And everybody stayed with us for this entire 4 or 5 years, so it wasn't like people came on and then, got discouraged and walked away. It's been a great experience. Primarily what we've been doing is offering opportunities for job shadowing, career awareness, college and career programs, and one of my, I think, was our most successful initiatives was the summer internship program in the 11-12 class. Getting the students out into the community, getting some real world experience, letting them see the application of their studies, and probably mostly important is learning the soft skills to navigate the employment world. I'm pretty sure everybody will tell you that it's an invaluable experience, and the students have enjoyed it, and we've enjoyed having them. I do want to thank my friends on the advisory board and the other higher ed and our business partners for their steadfast commitment to the STEM High School and their students. I'd also like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the STEM staff and administration. These folks are a wonderful group of professionals, and they've done, on my estimation, just a spectacular job with everybody. I hope the students agree. Most of all, I want to thank and congratulate the first graduating class of the STEM High School. All right. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about your successes as you move through your career. Congratulations, guys. Next.
Thank you, Mr. Casey, for opening the ceremony for us, for starting us off on a good note. But some people believe it's not how you start. Yes, Gerald? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Andrew, that's Andrew Johnson, he went from being a shy freshman to an eccentric senior. What does eccentric mean? Okay, so he went from being a shy, mumbling freshman to an eccentric senior. He went from strangeness to greatness. I remember sitting with Andrew's dad freshman year. Yes, Dad? From strangeness to greatness. Please welcome Andrew Johnson, salutatorian for the class of 2014.
Good morning, my fellow graduates, family, faculty, and distinguished guests. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for attending Rochester STEM's High School first graduating class of 2014. And I would also like to give a special thanks to Ms. Nero and Ms. Lai and all the staff members that have been here since day one. When we were back in that one hallway, it was an honor to be taught by all of you. I hope that today, each and every one of you graduates feels unstoppable, because we're supposed to feel that way. It's been a tough 4 years, and we finally made it to graduation. We are STEM's first graduating class ever. You deserve to be proud, to look at one another, and take a moment to smile and appreciate that we are taking our first step into the real world, our very own personal worlds, of potential successes or potential failures. Either way, it's going to be full of endless possibilities. But, like our short-lived 4 years in high school, what makes life or anything valuable is that eventually it comes to an end. That's what makes it precious, and that's why we cherish it. I want to share with you, my fellow graduates, an idea that now, more than ever, will be able to help us find our way in this world. Time is relative, isn't it? I mean, let's all just take a second to think about this moment in time and to appreciate it. Because after this ceremony, we will all end up parting ways and will never be completely together again as a class. And I say that to you all today, my fellow graduates, to remind us that the future is now. Time is now. And it's never going to freeze or stop for anyone. I know that sometimes you may spend a whole day worrying about the future, planning for it, trying to predict it. But the future will always be changing and evolving, for better or for worse. Time isn't our enemy, and it's not our friend. We must now learn as young adults in an evolving world to bend and manipulate the hands of a clock to fit our hopes and dreams and desires. To take advantage of every moment we have on this earth. We don't know where the hands of time and life will take us, but I know one thing for certain. When the future reveals itself, it will be something we never imagined. The time we all have right now is precious. As in the time we have today, tomorrow, the next day, and the next. So don't waste it living someone else's life or living in the past. Make whatever time you have now count for something. Fight for what matters to you, no matter what everyone else may think. Because even if you end up falling short, I can't think of a better way for us to live. I'd like to share a quote with all of you today. It's from a TV show that I hold very dear to my heart. It's the oldest story in the world. One day you're 17 and planning for someday. And then quietly, and without ever really noticing, some day is today. And then some day is yesterday. And then this is your life, Nathan Scott. Your future starts today, graduates. Take control of the time you have and never look back. It's been a wonderful 4 years with all of you, and I'll miss you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Somebody said that's a bad man. So he came to us as a boy. Yes, he grew up a little bit, got himself a little job, bought himself a little facial hair. He's leaving as a man, yes? All right. Life is about readiness. It's about who's ready, who's not ready, and who's getting ready. AJ has been ready. AJ's been ready for a while. I didn't even know AJ those first couple of years because he was under the radar. He was tactical. He was strategic and focused on executing his plan. He started ready and he stayed ready. And look at him now. AJ, Octavius, Andrew Hilton, the valedictorian of class of 2014.
Good morning, honored STEM guests, administration, family, friends, staff, and last but not least, the graduates of 2014. Has it sunk in yet that today we have made history? We are the first ever graduates of STEM High School. Yes, we stand here together, not as children, but as young adults, ready to begin the next journey in our lives. We have all had challenges, but these challenges were overcome. Actor Will Rogers once said, "Even if you are on the right path, you will get run over if you just sit there." But that certainly isn't true for any of us. We have all worked hard for this moment. I want to thank the friends and the families of our graduates. Your loving support has helped us to get to this point, and you also deserve recognition. I can still remember our 9th grade year when we came in as freshmen, the very first year of STEM high school. We had to come in through that back door of Edison, and being on the 3rd floor, we only had one hallway and several classrooms. We didn't know each other, and we did not want to communicate. I know you all remember. The classrooms seemed so confusing. But as that year progressed, we got more comfortable with each other. We bonded like chemical reactions. That's for you, Mr. Monaco. But the friendships that we cultivated, it continued all throughout our sophomore year, throughout our junior year, and throughout our senior year. And these friendships that we cultivated will forever be remembered. STEM High School has been a gift. I think choosing STEM High School was my best decision because of the countless benefits. STEM has allowed all of us valuable experiences. Many of us have experienced a taste of the real world of work through various internships. Through STEM, many students were able to visit some of the top firms of our region in information technology, health sciences, and engineering. Basically all of the STEM careers. Our experiences at STEM High School have helped to solidify the importance of always trying to improve in all areas of academics. You might say, well, suburban schools do that too. But at STEM, there have always been teachers going above and beyond and assisting the students to help them pass their classes and their exams. These kind-hearted mentors do this without any recognition, without any praise, without asking anything back in return. The STEM staff, likewise, they do as much as they can to help us to reach our full potential. Our principal, Ms. Kathleen De Niro, she's been very dedicated. She has devoted her time into making STEM the best it can ever be. Everyone's excitement and zeal to help was really encouraging. They help because they want to, because they feel that it is right. And we are forever grateful to you all. In addition to a quality education, STEM has prepared us for the workforce. Among our graduates, we may have the young mind that will work with NASA in designing their next machine. We may have the young mind that will build a car starter for you that can adjust the temperature according to the climate surrounding the vehicle. We may have a young mind that will change the world forever based off of what they learned at STEM High School. To all of my fellow students, there is no boundaries as to what we can accomplish. A wise man once said, "Remember your Creator while you are young." I want to encourage you all to use your amazing talents and skills as well as your moral compass to work to make this world a better place. We have seen how our combined volunteering has touched people's hearts. As a spiritual young man, my volunteering has caused me to view the world differently, and I can see the benefits and the results from giving back. Now let's reminisce again about our years at STEM. We have all had so much fun. We have grown closer to each other as a result of so much time spent annoying one another, helping one another, and teaching one another. We have developed friendships over the years, and it will be very hard to say goodbye. I want to personally say that I wish you all the best in your future goals. Never give up. If you fall down, just get back up and try again. Remember, the only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. I'll repeat that. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. But I believe that we can all find success. But that's only if we choose the right portion, by looking at the big picture. This chapter in our lives may be finished, but the next is about to start. So again, congratulations to the first ever STEM high school graduating class, the class of 2014.
You guys just got a double dose of Andrew, yes? So we've had the pleasure as teachers and staff of STEM, we had the pleasure of dealing with Andrew for the past 4 years. We will miss him. A wavering man is like a wave in the sea. It goes with the wind. Some people thought that STEM was a fad that would pass. But our keynote speaker, Mr. Merrill, Dr. Merrill, never wavered. He was here from day one or day two. In fact, rumor has it that he was in the delivery room or the womb when Rochester STEM was born. I'm not sure if it was the delivery room or the womb, but he was there from the beginning. A double-minded man is unstable in every way. Mr. Merrill has been single-minded. He's bled, he's sweated, and he's cried for STEM. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, I've cried about STEM. Parents have cried, students have cried. But this man has put in the work. He put in the blood, and he put in the sweat. And that's the Dr. Merrill that we know here at STEM. Now, the rest of the world knows he's a professor of biological sciences and director of RIT's Center for Bioscience Education and Technology, or CBET. He's been teaching in the college ranks for 30 years with an expertise in human biology, anatomy, and physiology, also environmental physiology and histology. Dr. Merrill is a recipient of the Eisenhower Award for outstanding teaching at RIT. He also has a deep commitment to inspiring K-12 students to consider careers in bioscience. For 25 years, Dr. Merrill has been visiting high school classrooms to lecture on human anatomy and physiology and to introduce students to what he calls lifestyle diseases. Please welcome our speaker, Dr. Merrill.
Thank you. Good morning. You know, I know it's kind of hot and sticky out there, and we probably want this to be over as quickly as we can, but this is a milestone in your lives, and you need to savor it for just a few moments, because it won't happen again. And certainly we won't have a first graduating class at the Rochester STEM High School again. So I want you to spend a moment just taking a deep breath and bringing it all in, right? This is the first real educational milestone of your life. So enjoy it. Now, I know that you had a chance to do this a little earlier, but I'm going to deviate from script for a moment, which always makes the organizers a little bit crazy. There are some people out there who were with you every step of the way for the past 4 years. They guided you, they nurtured you, they thought about you morning, noon, and night. They celebrated with you. They listened really patiently to all of those lame excuses for why you didn't do your homework. These are the teachers and the counselors of the Rochester STEM High School, and I'm going to do something we always do at RIT, and that's I'm going to ask them all to stand, and I want that graduating class of 2014 to show them how much you appreciate all they did for you. Go ahead and stand up, teachers. Stand up, counselors. Let them know what you think about them. Stand up, guys. Stand up. You know they love you guys. So good morning, class of 2014. You look fine out there. You look fine. I was really honored. I was honored to be chosen to be the commencement speaker for this very prestigious occasion, this celebration, the graduating class, the first graduating class of the Rochester STEM High School. I have been working in the school for a few years now. I've gotten a chance to know many of you personally. You mean a lot to me. You've become very dear to me in the past few years. And this is kind of a bittersweet moment that we get a chance to say goodbye. But the sweet part is that I know that you're going on from here and you're going to do some great things. So I'm really proud of you, and I want you to know that. I'm very proud of all that you've been able to accomplish. And I'm really happy that I've been able to be here to celebrate this special time with all of you. Now, I've calculated that in my life, I have attended 45 commencement ceremonies. Most of them as a professor at RIT, but 45 commencement ceremonies, and that means that I've listened to 45 commencement speakers. This is the first one that I've got a chance to be the speaker, but I've listened to 45, and I got to tell you one thing. For the most part, they were not memorable. I know that their job is to kind of dispense sage wisdom, to let you know some things that you really need to take with you as you leave high school. But the reason I don't remember them very well, I think, is because they were kind of boring. There were usually some old guy stands up there full of wisdom that he wants to share, and he takes too long to do it. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Well, I hope that this is going to be a little bit different. It was hard for me because, you know, professors get used to a cadence of whenever we stand up in front of an audience, we know we have about 50 minutes in order to give our lectures, and I had to try to condense this down a little bit. And I hope I was successful, but I'm going to do something that I really like to do as a professor, and that's use a visual aid. And so, if everything is working correctly, I'm going to show a few PowerPoint slides. I know you can't see them very well, but this is kind of what I do. This is what I like to do, dealing with students, teaching them, usually in a one-to-one fashion. Now, another thing I want to do is I want to kind of compare the life when I graduated from high school to the future that you're going to be facing. Now, coincidentally, Alan Casey and I graduated the same year, so it was a very good year, 1968, 46 years ago. Wow. Now, I remember that day very well. It was also a warm day. We were outside. I didn't have any graduation pictures that I would share with you, but I've become very courageous in my old age, and I've decided to show you a picture from my senior yearbook instead. I want to see if you have the same reaction to it that my wife did when she saw it for the first time. Yeah, it was the same. Pretty much the same. Fortunately, I showed it to her after we were married, or my life probably would have taken a different turn. So I remember sitting there, cap and gown, just as you are, faced with a future that I could not imagine. And it still seems impossible to me when I look back over those 46 years. For example, if I wanted to do a really complex math calculation like many of you do, I would have used something like this. You know what this is? This is a slide rule. It's a magnificent piece of equipment. You can do all of those calculations that you see there using this little simple piece of equipment. Long time before we had handheld calculators. In fact, if you remember a movie called Apollo 13, in 1970, when that spacecraft was going out to land on the moon, there was an explosion, and the scientists on the Earth had to try to calculate how to get this damaged spacecraft back to Earth in one piece. And they did all of those complex calculations using slide rules. And there's one right there. It's a magnificent piece of equipment, but you wouldn't know how to use one of these because you have handheld calculators now. If I needed to write a report, I did it on this. This is exactly the sort of typewriter that my parents gave me as a graduation gift for high school. And I used it all the way through college, all the way through my doctoral work, and I typed my dissertation on it. It was a long time before we had personal computers. In fact, in 1968, this is what a computer would look like. You had to put it in a big room all by itself. You now have more computing power on your cameras than that thing had in 1968. Personal computers wouldn't come out until the mid-1970s, and I wouldn't have one until I was 33 years old. If we had to do a research assignment, we went to the library. It might take us weeks to research all the books and all the papers that we would need to look at in order to complete that assignment. This was decades before the internet, which came about the same time you were born. So you don't know a world without Google. But papers that would have taken us weeks to complete, you now can research in a matter of minutes. It's really remarkable what happened, and I couldn't have predicted that as I was sitting in that graduation ceremony in 1968. We didn't have color TVs, we didn't have microwave ovens. If we wanted to listen to music, we had to have these vinyl records, put them on record players. Couldn't certainly walk around with them with earbuds in. And if we wanted to do videos, and if we wanted to place a telephone call, we were out of luck until the mid-1980s, when this sort of thing became apparent. Honest to goodness, the first handheld cell phone and the first portable camcorder. Can you imagine lugging those things around now? You have more firepower in your iPhone than we had back then. In the world of medicine, just a couple of months before I got my high school diploma, the first heart transplant took place in South Africa. It made a rock star out of Dr. Christian Barnard. The first time a human heart had been transplanted into the chest of another human being. The patient lived for only 18 days. This year, cardiac surgeons will perform about 3,500 heart transplant operations, and the patients will live for decades with those hearts. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing run. Now, I couldn't have imagined all of those things that you now take for granted, cell phones and iPads and iPods and microwave ovens and all of that other stuff. I could not have imagined it when I sat there in 1968 trying to imagine what my future would be like as a forest ranger. I think probably the same thing will happen to you. That the things that you will see in your lifetime by the time you're my age are things that you cannot begin to imagine, but I'm going to give you a peek at it anyway. And something that I know something about, which is medicine. Well before you're my age, when organs wear out, like the heart, the liver, kidneys, doctors will take a few of your stem cells and they'll load it into a machine that looks a little bit like a 3D printer, and they'll make your new heart for you, or your new kidney for you. It's like swapping out the tires on your car. Go in and get a new heart when the other one wears out. In all likelihood, there will be little tiny robots, nano-robots, circulating in your bodies. They're going to be looking for cancer cells, and they'll kill them upon contact. They'll be looking for damages in your arteries, and they'll remove the damage. That will happen before you're my age, and it seems like impossibility to you now. Certainly, we're going to make a lot more progress in humans-machine interactions. I think there'll be opportunities in the future where paralyzed people can move and walk using brain waves and thoughts to control machines that then control the parts of their bodies. That's coming for your future. In fact, this is a very recent edition of National Geographic magazine. Doctors are predicting that the life expectancy of babies born this year will be 120 years. It was 68 years when I was born, almost doubling the lifespan of humans. So I hope this baby does live to be 120, and I hope this one does too, because this is my new granddaughter, just born 2 months ago. And I hope I'm there to celebrate that birthday, actually. However, you're going to face some serious problems. And I know she agrees. The planet is going to continue to get hotter, just like this room. It's going to get hotter, and it's going to get hotter. Unless we do something like weaning ourselves from our addiction to the fossil fuels. It's contaminating our air and contaminating our water. We're going to continue to see droughts like we see in the West, and floods like we saw all over the Midwest now, and huge storms like the ones that we saw last year. Unless people from your generation step up and start to attack these problems. I propose that there are two answers to this question. What will you do with your STEM education? The first answer is that I think some of you are going to go on to college. You're going to become the innovators who step up, use that STEM education, and work with other talented scholars to find solutions to these problems. Well, and why not? Many of you who are sitting there right now have wonderful abilities. You have imagination, intelligence, energy, creativity. Your teachers have given you a really firm foundation in mathematics and engineering and biology. I urge you, I challenge you to take that education and those talents and put them to good use as much as you can, as soon as you can. As Einstein said, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the minds to think. I hope some of you become the scientists and the innovators and the engineers who will think your way to some of the problems, the solutions to the problems we have. And secondly, I hope you accept the responsibility as citizens of this nation and of this planet to become fully informed of all of the issues that face us in the world today. You have to be able to tell fact from fiction. When we get to the point where we listen more to movie stars and Playboy centerfolds than we listen to scientists and physicians when it comes to things like immunizing our children, we're in deep trouble. I think your STEM education has positioned you to become lifelong learners, and I want you to use that education as citizens to make good choices for yourself, your family, and all of your friends. And so finally, I want to introduce you to a real hero of mine. This is Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, a very famous astronomer, astrophysicist, director of the Hayden Planetarium, and the host of a wonderful TV show called Cosmos, and I hope you have a chance to look at it sometime. I think you're going to find that it's amazing. His ability to explain the natural world is unparalleled. And I think I would like to leave you with his personal philosophy. And I don't know if you can see it up there, but it says, "For me, I am driven by two main philosophies: know more today about the world than I knew yesterday, and lessen the suffering of others." You'd be surprised at how far that gets you. Let me end by telling you that we're all very proud of you. We're hopeful that you have learned in these 4 years at Rochester SEM High School, both within and outside of the classroom, what you need to know to serve you well in the years ahead. Congratulations, good luck, God bless you.
Thank you, Dr. Merrill. I think I speak on behalf of everybody listening when I say, whoa. It's amazing how far we've come. It's amazing to think about how far we have yet to go. We want to take a couple of minutes to recognize a couple of more icons whose inspiration has helped to get the class of 2014 to where they are today. Our special presentation will be offered by the iconic Mr. Goldsberry.
Good morning. Before I do the presentations, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of people here. Mr. Harris, for being the master of ceremony, he's doing a great job, isn't he? And I want to acknowledge Ms. Pelra, Ms. Tooks, and Ms. Schley for being great senior advisors. And for the seniors, the wonderful senior counselors, Mr. Gabowski, Mr. Curran, and Ms. Schley. The partners that you met this morning, Mr. Casey and Dr. Merrill, really have done a great job at STEM. You know, a partnership's a two-way street. School benefits and the partners benefit. And we've benefited immensely at STEM from the partnership with Mr. Casey and Dr. Merrill. You know, you might not know this, but Dr. Merrill actually co-taught a course for us at the school. Mr. Casey, I watched over the last 2 years work tirelessly to help us establish the internships. He reached out to the business community and did a phenomenal job securing internships. Last year we had 9, this year we had 13 kids that got jobs over the summer between their junior and senior year, and a lot of it was due to the legwork behind the scenes by Dr. Casey, by Mr. Casey. So we at STEM want to acknowledge them and say thank you to them for being partners and to being friends for us. Mr. Casey, could you come up here, please? Thank you so much for everything you've done.
All right, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Merrill, could you come up? Thank you, Doug. And there's one other thing. It's not part of the script, but we have to do this. There's only one time that you have a first graduating class. And a school starts once. And what's been the consistent thing throughout the start of STEM has been the founding principle. And I would like all the graduates to stand up and let's give a hand to Principal Kathleen Dinero. Mr. Nero, thank you for everything you've done to get these students to this point. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Harris and get on to why we came here this morning, and that's the presentation of the diplomas.
All right. We're getting close to the tearing up time, yes? We're getting close. Now we come to the good stuff, yes? All that other stuff was good, but next we get to what you guys came here for, the good stuff. The presentation of the class of 2014. But before we begin, we'd like to give some special instructions. We have made arrangements for a professional photographer to take a picture of each diploma presentation for later purchase. Family members and friends, please do not leave your seats when taking your own photos. This consideration will avoid interference with graduates leaving and returning to their seats. Not yet. Not yet. It will preserve the safety of this auditorium. Thank you for your cooperation and consideration of all graduates and supporters on this special day of celebration. Graduates, when your roll is called, please stand. Donnie McClurkin said, stand. Maya Angelou said, I rise. Take your pick. But when you do, graduates, make sure you stand with a puff in your chest, a smile, and a nod as you look from side to side, and then make your way to the stage. First row graduates, please stand. All right. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. And they say that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. For us The village is the teachers and the staff. The whole is STEM, and the parts are the academies of engineering, information tech, and health sciences. Here to award diplomas, we have Principal De Niro, Vice Principals Bonomo, Goldsberry, and Polonia. Graduates will be introduced based upon their academy by Counselors Gabowski, Schley, and Curran. Mr. Gabowski.
Telvin Brock. Malik Butler Elliott. Andrew Hilton. Alex McDouglas. Okay. Yeah, in rehearsal we let him get all the way. John Nguyen. Dehan Ogier. Congratulations, John. Soraya Rivera. Here's your picture. Xavier Rosario. Tevin Stewart. Christopher Sutton. Congratulations, Tevin. Gerald Williamson.
Next we have Miss Schley to present for the Academy of Information Technology.
Timothy Alexander. Erica B. Coates. Trenton Brooks. Dejiana Cotton. John Davis. Jennifer Wynn. Andrew Johnson. Malik Jones. Jonisha Kearse. Gabriella Kinsey. Markel Lewis. Imani McFadden. Franklin Palmo. Tania Pittman. Carlos Rivera. Kennedy Smith. Anibal Tirado. Shaniqua Williams. Alex Zipke. Jody Zulke.
We ready to go? From the Academy of Health Science, Denisha Anderson. Ivy Berry. Karande Bradley. Okay. Jasmine Coleman. Shanice Blair.
Congratulations, baby. Congratulations.
Chandelier Crespo. Carrie Ernestine. Haldina Ford. Joseph Foster III. Latabrion Foster. Sharnice Gatson. Brianna Grant. Imani Grisham. Giera Hurd. Raekwon Hill. Raquan Jackson. Jariah Jenkins.
I am so proud of you.
Durga Cattell.
I am so proud of you.
Inaria Lewis. Cezanne Lusant.
I'm so proud of you, baby. Way to go.
Nicole Montero. Aisha Morrison. Mr. Charles Nash.
I am so proud of you, honey. Watch your hat. You need that. I'm so proud of you, honey.
Maishana Nesmith. Lakia Phillips.
No, wait up. We got the pictures here.
Adine Polajanen.
Dave, you got to wait for pictures. That's the only reason I held up.
Angel Rivera. Luay So. Tremel Starks. Brianna Taylor. Janaya Vassell.
Very proud of you.
Candice Vetromil. Tabitha Vieira.
Very proud of you, my friend. Very.
Maya Walker. Clarence White. Brianna Wyatt.
I'm just going to tell them to rise. You going to tell them to rise? Okay.
ST 20. Graduates, please rise. Graduates, please rise. Everyone stand. Graduates stand. There is no more dinero, but hear this. By virtue of the authority vested in me, by the Board of Education of the Rochester City School District and the Education Department of the State of New York, members of the class of 2014, you may now change your tassels from the right to the left. You are now graduates of Rochester STEM High School and of the Addison campus. We welcome you into the Addison Alumni Association. Congratulations. You want to take her home?
So graduates, what does doneness feel like, graduates? Huh? Let me know when you get there, right? Because it's not over. What does completion feel like? You'll let me know you got more work to do. So, although it is not over, this 4-year journey, this is complete. We wrap it in a bow, we seal it with a kiss. I believe it was Stevie Wonder that said, "Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours." Well, graduates, it's yours, graduates. Audience, we ask that you remain in your seated areas for the recessional until all graduates and guests on stage have exited the auditorium. Remember, photographs will be available in the lobby for purchase. Senior class advisor, Ms. Tooks, and our Panel, our platform panel, please prepare the graduates for the recessional. I have a feeling that they have someplace to be. I got a feeling they got things to do, big things. Let's go. Can you cycle it?